I realised in particular, I haven't done enough about Newgrange. And the interesting thing about Newgrange is that there's been lots of books written about Newgrange. So again, if you'd said to me years ago, you're going to write about Newgrange, I was a nonsense. There's loads of books about Newgrange. I still didn't feel that Newgrange had been covered properly. And I had my own sort of feelings and intuitions and revelations about Newgrange, which were both scientific and spiritual, which is one of the things that really, really grips me about Newgrange. I see it as, I think that my ancestors used both sides of their brain, I'm convinced of it. They were engaged in scientific study. They were watching the sun where it was rising and setting on the horizon. They were watching what happens, the moon and the planets against the backdrop of the stars. At the same time, they were creating stories about it. And at the same time, they were creating these wonderful temples where the light comes in, and these wonderful chambers where certain things happen at specific times of the year. So I've no doubt that Newgrange was, represented a huge crossover between the scientific study on the one hand and spiritual endeavour on the other hand.
Well, Newgrange to me is a very special, magical place actually. I spend a lot of time here down along the road there in the evenings and at night time, and I've been coming here on and off for 13, 14 years. I'm fascinated by how it was built, and I'm fascinated by the people that built it and how old it is, and same things that maybe fascinate most people who come here, except for me it's something much deeper than that. I think that I come here for some sense of connection to something that's very deep-rooted, something ancient. It's ancestral as well. I feel some sense of connection with long-lost ancestors when I come here. There's a creative or a procreative element in Newgrange, a very organic element in that it's like a womb and it's like a birth canal. And the sunlight is like the male. The sun in Irish mythology is male. Dagda was the chief of the gods, very much the sun god. He is very much male. Boan, who is the feminine, I suppose, the life-giving goddess. She's represented by the river. She's represented by the monuments. She's represented by the whole valley, really. She's very much female. And what happens at the winter solstice is basically a union of male and female, and that something might have been created, as it were, in the minds and spirit of the people who built Newgrange. They may have seen that as a spectacularly creative moment. Of course, they understood the cycles of life and death, much as we do, except for, I think, we've been supplanted with this modern religion that teaches us certain things about life and death and what you need to do in life to be guaranteed, survival in the afterlife, and you have to adhere to all these rules and regulations, and I don't think they had that here. I think they had a much purer spirituality, and it was probably much more related to ancestor worship and cosmic, this cosmic ideal that saw them basically construct monuments like this in order to facilitate journeying between one life and the next. Newgrange is a sort of portal of sorts, a doorway from this world to the next.